Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Hilaal Live. Thanks for watching us on channel 347 on DSTV. My name's Luqman Shadrack. I'll be keeping you company until about 6 p.m. Today, inshallah. And then the Johannesburg team, my colleague Faraz Patel, and the good folk in Johannesburg take over until about 7:30, inshallah. As we do every single day, we invite phenomenal Cape Townians and South Africans in general onto our show and just chat to them a little more about some of the amazing work that they do that encourage our community, that make our community stronger, and more importantly, our viewers benefit from that as well. So over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be starting a series with a very, very inspirational young lady who is just making tracks in our beautiful country and is going to encourage us to live a bit healthier, a little better spiritually, and a little healthier at the same time as well. So I'd like to introduce Assalamu alaikum, Fadwa Booley.
Walaikum salam.
Shukran so much for taking the time and
Afwan.
coming through to our studios. And this is going to be your home for the next couple of weeks, inshallah.
Inshallah.
We've booked a
Ameen.
parking spot outside,
Okay,
so
great.
that's also already sorted out as well. Fadwa, you've been making the news with various Islamic media publications, various radio stations, newspapers as well. And I've followed some of your work over the very many years and very impressed with the commitment you have for our community, and our community appreciates that commitment as well. So tell us where this all started. Give us a bit of history about how you got into the industry you're currently doing.
Okay, so being a kinesiologist, it started off with the calling of a voice in my mind, basically. I'll say like a little voice saying, you need to be a reflexologist, you know? All the years I always wanted to be this fashion designer. Since small, like really tiny, I was just wanted to be this fashion designer. And I think it was because I was so fascinated with my aunt being a fashion designer, traveling the world. And I just said, I'm going to walk, have my designs on the runways all over the world, New York Fashion Show, Milan. And I had this idea, you know. And then I finished my qualification in fashion designing. I studied at the Elizabeth Galloway Academy, and I got my qualification, and then I ended up working in my father's business, that is interiors. My late father, he was still alive. And then I was his right-hand person, doing his wages, seeing to things, and his office, and, you know, like his go-to person. And then I was sitting one day, sewing in between for clients, designing in between in my spare time for extra pocket money. And then just one day I was in his office and I just heard that voice, you need to be a reflexologist. So I knew absolutely nothing about reflexology. All I knew, it had something to do with the feet. And then I opened up the phone book. I checked for reflexology. I opened up the yellow pages. I ended up phoning a number in Durban. They guided me to Pretoria, and Pretoria guided me to the Cape Institute for Adult Health Studies. And then I called them, and then the registrar said, yes, you sound like a reflexologist, you know. So I met this woman.
You were made for it.
Yes, and then she said, come pop in. And the next day I took my sister to school. She was still at Glendale at the time, in Tokai. And then I said, let me go pop in. And I walked into this environment and I thought, I need to be here. So, you know, the calling was so big. And something that I always tell my students and attendees of my workshops and clients is that when the calling comes, the time, money, energy will be available for you. You don't have to worry. You just need to follow the calling. You know, Allah will call you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call you. And you just have to just follow the calling.
Alhamdulillah.
And then I went and I had absolutely no money. My eldest son now is 18, he's turning 19 next week, inshallah. He was 1.5 at the time. My husband was studying. My father's business wasn't the way it was before. And I'm thinking, how do I pay for this, you know? And I just put it out there and I said, Ya Allah, if I'm meant to do this, then open up that path. And alhamdulillah, I got an offer to pay for my school fees of 18,000 Rand. And then I said, like, this is definitely meant to be. Like I said, the time will come, the money will come, the people who will assist you will just enter your path. And then I did the first year, and the second year, so I did my first year of reflexology, therapeutic reflexology, and I became so passionate in knowing about the human body, the spirit, how to heal, and I just immersed myself in this world of healing. So that was in 2006, and the rest is history.
So from 2006, you obviously went on a very different path. Your research, your studying, your guiding light, if you want to call it, guided you onto a particular path as well. So tell us about that journey.
So the path was more about the healing, right? just going in. And then what I did was, because I'm an entrepreneur of note,
Mm.
there was an opportunity that came up because I started selling a popular food product, and I was one of the team leaders at the time. And my mind just always constantly, I'm always in solution-orientated mode.
Right.
And then there was an opportunity for Wellness Day at one of the companies, De Beers.
Okay.
And then they approached me and they said, could you be able to? And I just said yes. And I recruited my peers, my
Beautiful.
at the college. We were all studying. And I said, would you guys like to make money?
Yeah.
I've got gigs for you. So I went out and I created mobile therapies, which was a thing of what I came up was bringing the health industry to the workspace.
Okay.
So I started doing wellness days. So it was like De Beers and Saab and Transnet and it was Afrox. So I did like these huge companies,
Right.
and I was like the student studying, and I would take the reflexology, the massage, and some aromatherapists into the workspaces, and we would do that. And then I said, okay, now I'm going to go national. So now I also studied. I entered the world of mind power.
Okay.
And I said, now I'm going to start writing down my goals and my dreams, and I'm going to start doing that. And I promise you, the minute I started writing down what I wanted to achieve, everything opened up. Because now I was national, doing wellness days in Johannesburg, in Durban, in Richards Bay. And 1 week I was on the plane, the next week I'm back home, seeing to my kids, back on the plane, and I was recruiting therapists in Joburg and Durban.
Well, they say, go big or go home.
Absolutely.
That is the slogan.
Yes.
And it's nice. So that journey then from there, where did you end up next? What was your next step?
So the next step was then studying kinesiology, because then I went to one of the mind power courses and I met Dr. Frans Kromhout there. I was fascinated because now it's about the subconscious mind, how we run our lives because of our subconscious mind. And I was so interested, so I went to see him as a patient. And then he looked at me and he said, you've got the gift of the gob. You need to do this. Why don't you study this? I said, okay, let's give it a try. And I promise you, my therapy room was filled with clients for kinesiology instead of reflexology.
Okay.
So now what I do is I refer my reflexology clients. I mostly see to kinesiology clients and the spiritual work that I do. And it just evolved since then. So I basically mastered applied kinesiology. Somebody would walk in and know exactly what's going on in their body. Their beliefs would even pop up intuitively in my mind. And then I became a bit bored because I said, now I need a challenge. And then I spoke to another kinesiologist and she was telling me, speak to my lecturers and look at specialized kinesiology.
Okay.
And I went for that. And then I just started adding on. Then I studied NLP. Then it was specialized kinesiology. And every course that I could just feel in the gut of my stomach, do this, I would do it.
Okay.
So now, alhamdulillah, I have put together workshops because now it's about empowering. I can't see to all the clients. And what I want to do is impart my knowledge before I leave this dunya, is
Inshallah.
know how to heal yourself. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's no use going to therapists all the time. You need to have those tools for yourself and for your family members as well.
Okay.
So that is what I do. I teach now. I have 13 different workshops that I've created from the work and the studies I've done over the years, from practical steps I've done on myself. So I've got this way of putting stuff together and putting in so simple layman's terms. Like you come to me and you say, okay, now I will decipher it and tell you, here's an easier way to do it. Because I'm seriously in solution-orientated mode most of the time.
So are these clients of yours that affect their private life, business life? What would they come to you to try and help, to try and assist?
All around. Mostly businesses with money, because I also specialize in the abundance side of things. Which check for negative beliefs that's in your mind, see what ancestral traumas there is in your body, clear that up. So yes, daily life, yes, family life, yes, children, elderly as well. But what I've discovered is a lot of business people come to me and then they say, okay, let's check. So I check holistically, spiritual level, physical level, what's happening there, what's happening with your muscles, if there's syndromes in the body, do you need some supplements to support your organs, that type of things, getting your muscles strong. Because let's say people are all this on this buzz of law of attraction and not belief system, I'm talking about affirmations. I will check if that affirmation that you choose, that you're saying and repeating yourself in the mirror, if that is actually good for you, because sometimes an affirmation you're choosing is actually weakening your body, and it could weaken a certain meridian and an organ.
So if it's not utilized in a certain way, it could be to your detriment?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
And we've been taught affirmations is something that you would repeat in order to create positive
Yes.
mindset. But if not used correctly, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Could have the adverse effect.
Yes.
Wow.
Because let's say you're saying, okay, I want to be a billionaire, and you're saying that, but you know deep down it's not possible because you think of how it's working. What's going to happen to you? You're going to say it in the morning, you can repeat it out 100 times, but your body's going to feel weakened. Your body will feel weakened by the fact that you're saying that statement.
And do you tie that into one's spiritual aspect, Islamic values? Do you tie that in? How does that work?
Absolutely. So spiritually, the first thing I am going to check is what is your spiritual statement, right? What's your spiritual statement? Are you connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are you doing all that you can to be connected? Are you doing your namaz, which you're supposed to do, the normal, So a lot of people come in and say, I don't actually really believe in this stuff. They tell me the first thing. Oh, I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. I don't actually pray. So I said, okay, but if you want to heal, who is the healer?
Absolutely.
I redirect him firstly, because the first thing we do is we pop a pill when we have a headache.
Of course.
But the headache could be so many other factors. It could be spiritual, it could be emotional, it could be mental. So we will go down to the root of it, and then I first ask them, what is your religious views, first of all, and how is your relationship with our Creator? And then I give them something to think about, because now, let's say they do need a spiritual cleanse, the body will tell me what is the antidote for the cleanse, because I give the basics like your Ayatul Kursi, that's powerful, your 3 Kuls, your Fatiha, Kalima Shahada, and then your body will indicate how many of what you need to recite before I do the cleanse.
Well, I have so many questions, you have no idea. So I'm chatting to Fadwa Booley. I'm sure you are just as mesmerized as I am in terms of the work that she does. And we're very happy and privileged to have her on the show. And for the next couple of months, inshallah, going to be here as well, joining us if time allows and if Allah wills. After the break, we will continue our conversation with Fadwa Booley on the series called Soul Series that we're going to be starting on my show here on Hilaal Live. You are still listening to us on channel 347. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Hilaal Live. You're watching us on channel 347 on DSTV. I'm Luqman Shadrack. And in studio, I'm chatting to Fadwa Booley, who is going to be starting a series called Soul Series right here on Hilaal Live between 5 and 5:30 every Wednesday. So I hope that you're going to join us and engage with us on the WhatsApp line from next week, inshallah. Fadwa, Jazakallah once again for coming into studio. Now, we're very, very excited about the Soul Series. Tell us about how that came about.
So in 2017, I was still running. I embarked on this journey of traveling, right? I was always a traveler, but then I just said, okay, I'm not going to do these marathons local anymore.
So you did marathons?
Yes, half marathons.
The only time I run is if somebody's chasing me. But,
or running a bath.
Or running a bath, there we go.
And then I said I want to do the Istanbul Marathon because all I wanted was that medal. Right. I just wanted the medal to say I did Istanbul, right? And then I thought, now how do I get there? So
what is the distance, that marathon?
Okay, so I didn't do the full marathon.
Okay.
The joke was there was a 42K, there was a 15K. I was used to running 21Ks. There was a 15K, a 10K, and a 5K.
Okay.
So now we start at the one end of Istanbul on the Asian side, and you walk over to you're supposed to run over, and you do the whole marathon, which you really get to experience Istanbul. And then I had this idea, and I said, I want that marathon. And I told my husband, let's go do the marathon.
Right.
And then I thought, but I'm needing spending money. And if I'm going to just work in my therapy room, I'm not going to have enough spending money, because I wanted at least about 30,000 Rand spending money. And then I went quiet and I said, Ya Allah, I would love to do this marathon, guide me for my spending money. And then I thought, if only, because see, when you want money, you have to offer a service in order to get. You can't just say, I want, right? And beg, right? So I'm begging Allah for the money, and I'm saying, now guide me, how do I do this? And one night I was sleeping and I woke up. But something woke me up, right? And I think it's again that voice that said, you need to be a reflexologist. So it sounded very similar. And it just said, Soul Series. I just heard Soul Series, but a playful little voice, man. It felt like I said little angels or cherubs or something that said this voice, like Soul Series, Soul Series, like that, Soul Series. And I woke up and I wrote it down, because I keep a book next to my bed, and I write it down because ideas come through in the middle of the night between 12 and 3, ideas will come. The next day I just saw work that I studied, which page must go where. And I just knew it needs to be, because I said if it's a series, it's probably more than one. And then I thought, what is this workshop actually about? And then the things that helped me heal studying kinesiology, I said, I'm going to try this out. So the psychology stuff that I studied, all those things I put in there, and I said, okay. And then I actually saw it. I saw the first page, the index, the content, and then the next page was page 1, page 2, page 3, and I actually saw it. I think that whole week, I just got the whole manual. And then I said, okay, now I'm also going to teach some muscle testing techniques, body dowsing, muscle testing, applied kinesiology. And I said, now I've got my manual. And then what I did was I launched it in Durban, mind you, because I went to Durban. And then I had to see some clients in Durban because I see clients from Pietermaritzburg, Durban. Then I just fly up and I see them. And then I said, I'm launching this. And I told my cousin, I said, okay, you guys coming? I let my clients know. And some clients came down from Pietermaritzburg and I launched the Soul Series Workshop 1.
Listen, that little voice that I hear normally says, have a snack. But yours works in various ways and mysterious ways. That's my midnight snack time, but okay. So the series that started from this beautiful story, I mean, that's just an amazing story. We now are going to unpack that over the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
So what can we expect on Hilaal Live with the Soul Series?
So Workshop 1 is all about getting to know yourself. So I called it Know Thyself. Right? It's knowing yourself completely. Because when you want to get to know Allah guides you and say, get to know yourself, and you get to know me, and you get to know yourself. So that the entire workshop is based on knowing yourself. So I teach you how to connect with the soul, how to get answers from in yourself, how to understand where you are in your dynamic of your household, your family dynamics, where you are, what negative aspects you're leaving out of yourself, or things that you're not actually taking note of, that your body's actually going to guide you through it. The muscle testing as well. And
so
then,
when you say muscle testing,
yes,
what are you referring to?
The kinesiology part of things.
That part. Okay.
Yes, so muscle testing is an art and a form of getting to get answers from your body.
Okay, all right, I got you. Okay.
So Workshop 2 then, because I was running, what I did was, I forgot to tell you, I printed 100 manuals. I told my clients, I said, my goal is I'm leaving in November for Istanbul, and I need to have at least 100 clients attend this workshop. I promise you, the first workshop that I launched in Constantia was 50 people, attendees.
Amazing.
And from there, the word spread. And then I managed to do my 100 before I left, and I had all my money. Right? So that's how I goal set. So when I sit with anybody with, whether it's business, whether it's just a housewife wanting to know how to handle the money, I'll sit and I say, okay, let's unpack your goals. What do you want to achieve? Now I break it down and I chunk it down, which we learned in NLP, how to do it much simpler and much quicker. And I say, okay, that should be your priority, and we pack. And next minute they will let me know and say, that debt is paid, and I'm heading for that goal. And next they'll send me a picture wherever they are in the world and say, I've done it.
Okay, so when I wake up, that little voice that says sports car,
yes,
I'm coming to you.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to plot that. We're going to definitely plot that. So this is going to be happening on our show over the next couple of weeks. So we've got lesson 1, lesson 2. Where do we progress from there?
So then the next workshop is Love Thyself.
Okay.
So loving thyself is getting to know yourself, to know that you need boundaries, right?
Okay.
When people throw you destructive criticism, how to respond, how to get rid of your guilt, because manipulative people, they have, I always make jokes in the workshop where I said they've got the radar, man. Like, that little alien that used to fly around Manamarak. They've got the radar and they pick up your guilt and they say, oh, this person I can manipulate, So I teach you, get rid of all your guilt, because Shaitan thrives on your guilt and your shame. So if you get rid of your guilt and your shame, then nobody can come and manipulate you.
That's also true.
Absolutely. So I teach you, we sit down in the workshops and we get rid of your guilt. We go through a forgiveness process.
Okay. And you tie all of this back to the Quran.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Everything is the Quran, because you can ask anybody that has attended the workshop, the Allah consciousness that comes through that's how I live. I breathe, I speak, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I teach them how to actually connect it, and I give them examples of the Quran, of the Sunnah, and I break things down. Like I was in Radio 76 yesterday, and I just had this thing, the topic is the calling, and I could actually tell them about my realization on Arafah, on Wukuf, and tying it down to Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam and his relationship with his son Nabi Ismail alayhi salam. And it was so profound, because I was getting so many messages on my phone to say, I've never ever looked at it in that way, because somehow, alhamdulillah, Allah has given me this brain that just can see things in a different way, in a completely different way.
That's,
you know?
Yeah, I have so many questions. I think half an hour is not going to be enough for our sessions, but we'll start there and we'll try and see where we can go from there as well. So this journey you're going to take our viewer on as well.
Yes.
We're going to open the WhatsApp lines next week.
Yes.
And people can WhatsApp some of their questions, concerns, and also maybe attend some of your workshops as
Yes,
well.
inshallah. So the next workshop will be running in Johannesburg on the 15th of July, which will be in Omande area.
Okay.
And this is workshop 1. So all the Joburgers, if they want to attend, I will put some information out there on my WhatsApps and my Instagram and Facebook. And then they can basically see if they would like to attend, because now it's all about getting to know yourself. Because once you know yourself, nobody else can tell you who you are.
Did you find that, when one reaches a certain age, the mind, body starts to change in the way we work, the way we think, the way we operate?
Yes, especially when you reach the age of 40.
Right.
Right now, when you enter the age of 40, I call it the midlife crisis. The midlife crisis is going to hit you so hard. Because this is the time the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam got his revelation. So men go through it. They go through a midlife crisis. So there's different ways. Women go through it as well. And this is where you really need to go inward. This is a time of your own hijrah, your own jihad. It's your own, it's a dark space. So I was talking about that on the radio as well. And I will take the listeners and the viewers through that process, because it's known as, in the jargon of health and healing nowadays, they're saying the dark night of the soul. And many of us have been through it. And then I give them a simpler way of looking at it with the Allah consciousness behind it. Because when you're in that dark night of the soul, you can't see the wood from the trees. You can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Everything looks dark. And that's the time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us with Him and just reaching out and calling out to Him. So I take you through those processes. And then workshop 3 is all about your bucket list and your goal settings. Because now I take you through... take you to a space of Allah consciousness of abundance. So when I take you through a meditation, I dip you into Allah's infinite abundance. And now you come out of there with feeling that, and now you plot your goals. Because what your conscious mind is going to do is going to stop you. Your ego is going to say, no, that you can't drive that sports car. You're not worthy of it. Remember where you come from. But you're going to say, no, but if I got that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has inspired me to actually get it, because you can't imagine something that Allah hasn't put in your mind.
Absolutely.
So I bring you again back to Allah consciousness regarding that anything you can imagine, you can achieve.
So we're on project 4, 3, 4?
That's in project 3 now.
And how many others are there?
So there's 13 in total.
13 in total. So Fadwa is going to be here for the next 6 years on the show, inshallah. Because that's how long it's going to take to unpack all of that. But in terms of the relevant information for our viewers to understand and for you to unpack as well, inshallah. But for those that would like to connect with you, what are the various methods, social media handles that you would like to give out? So
social media is fadwa.mobiletherapies.
Okay.
Right. On Facebook, it's Fadwa Booley. And we've got I haven't posted so long on this mobile therapies. Okay. Right. And then, of course, am I allowed to give my WhatsApp number?
I would say rather on let's keep it to the social media, because we just rather protect your business there as well. But you can follow us on Hilaal TV as well, and we've got Fadwa's details on there. Fadwa, so we look forward to next week, Wednesday.
Yes, me too.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's exciting. Our viewers are definitely going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it, so I'm sure our viewers are going to as well. Shukran so much.
Afar.
And all the very best with all the very many projects that you're busy with.
Shukran so much for the opportunity as well.
Yeah, my pleasure. So that's Fadwa Booley on the Soul series, which starts next Wednesday, inshallah. Do watch and tune in during that time. You're welcome to WhatsApp us during that time, and then we will pose those questions to Fadwa, and she will try her level best to answer them. We're going to take an ad break. When we come back, it's the legal half hour. I was going to say hour, but half hour with Yusuf Khan Dalwai, who's going to be in studio. We're chatting about debt and some of the concerning issues around debt as well. Do join us for that. You are still listening to and watching Hilaal Live.